May is going to be an interesting month because the beginning of May is very, very busy. I teach year 6, it's SATs week, there's like 7,000 bank holidays. But then the end of the month is May half term, which Easter holidays, Christmas holidays, summer holidays seem to be good for reading. Half term holidays just don't seem to be great for my reading. So I've got a TBR. Thankfully, I've given myself a head start with some that I've already read, but let's see what's coming up in the month of May. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews here at the weekend. In the description box below you will find my blog and my Goodreads, where I have posted or have coming up some written reviews of the books that I'm going to talk about today. So I'm just going to briefly talk about some May releases that are coming out that I have already read / posted reviews of, and then we'll dive into the ones that I want to read. I've got some June releases, some July releases, a couple of April audiobooks that I didn't finish, and of course a book versus movie, because it wouldn't be a TBR without me reading a book versus movie book. So that's exciting that I've kind of managed to get into a pattern of about one a month. So 10th of May, we have The Cassandra Complex by Holly Smale, which is adult fiction. Absolutely loved it. Look out for that coming out on the 10th of May. Also on the 10th of May, that I have already read, 11th of May, not 10th of May, that I have already read. Other side of the coin, bit of YA here for you. This is Imogen, obviously, by Becky Albertalli. I read this one in the month of March, so I will leave that video linked up above, just up here. And I have a full written review of this one already on my blog for you. So if you want to know my thoughts on that one, go ahead and go over there. But absolutely loved it. Bit of YA to kind of flip things around. Then also on the 11th of May, where is it? We have the first part of An Invitation to Seashell Bay, which is the first part of All Things Crafty by Bella Osborne. This is a serialized adult fiction novel. So part 1 is the first quarter of the book, and I should find out when part 2 is coming out because I'm excited to read it. Again, review of this one you will find on my blog. And then another May release that I have read is... read this last year because we couldn't not read it. So read this in December. This is 7 X's by Lucy Vine, and it's just amazing. 7 missed chances. Who was the one that got away? So it's Esther and going through her exes. We've got the first love, the work mistake, the friend with benefits, the overlap, the missed chance, the bastard, and the serious one. And this one is just Lucy Vine, hilarious. Absolutely amazing. Really, really loved it. Highly recommend. This one comes out on the 25th of May. So really do keep an eye out for this one. I think there's just something in here for everyone. It's amazing. Highly, highly recommend. So on to 2 May releases that I have pre-ordered on audiobook, and I am going to be buddy reading them with Hayley. So because I've pre-ordered on audiobook, we're not going to kind of read a set amount of pages a day. We're just going to listen to them and then discuss together. So different way of doing it. We have, let me find it, where is it? We have The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren, which comes out on the 16th of May, which is quite nice timing for me because I'll be done with SATs week and I'll be done with my bout of books reading. And so this could be like a fresh listen for my commute. And I'm really excited about listening to it as well. That's why I pre-ordered it. And Hayley and I have read through Christina Lauren's books together and discussed here on this channel. We were reading basically a book a week of hers, so we should be able to definitely listen to the audiobook of this one in a week and then discuss. I know nothing about it because Christina Lauren is now an auto-download author for me. Go with download rather than auto-buy, because I have listened to a lot of her books from the library as well. And then we have one which was on my April TBR because at the time it was an April release still, but this one got pushed to the fancy date that everyone has of the 11th of May. And this one is Vary McFarlane, Between Us, Some Secrets Are Meant to Be Between Us. Again, I know nothing about this. I know that it's adult rom-com, and Vary McFarlane, little like Lucy Vine there, and Lindsay Kelk is just like hilarious and relatable and just kind of writes the way that I want to read. And so I have this one pre-ordered, and so it will be hitting my Audible app on Thursday, perhaps when my April wrap-up is hitting your subscription feeds. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell to see what I was reading in the month of April, but I'm very excited to read that Vary McFarlane. Then another buddy read that Hayley and I are going to do before we decided we would both listen to both of these audiobooks. It's just some of our favourite authors coming out with books all at the same time. It's going to be a real sort of buddy reading type of month for us. I feel like we should maybe get together and talk about these things in person. So Hayley, let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. We are both on the blog tour for this book in June, and so we thought if we put it on our May TBRs, we get a head start on it. We made sure that we've read it by the time that we need to. My date for this one in June is not till the 22nd or 23rd of June, so really getting a head start on this one. But this one is Maybe Tomorrow by Penny Parks. What a difference a year could make. I loved Penny Parks' last standalone. I thought this was her first standalone. I completely forgot about last year and Home. I think it was one of my top 10 books of the year. I really enjoyed it, but I'm just loving this cover. Like, can you see like the detail on this cover? Obviously there's perhaps a child or a friend in there, but the fact that she sat on the window, messy bun, flannel shirt, cup of something hot and fortifying, and it just, again, I haven't read the blurb for it. I just know I like a Penny Parks book that isn't about vets or doctors, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this one. Gonna buddy read it with Hayley. Lots of auto-buy authors coming out with books in the summery time for me here. And then now, this is one that by the time you are watching this video, I may have read already, because I am ill-advisedly taking part in Bout of Books again in the week when it's Sats week, and I have plans the weekend after Sats week to kind of, go, okay, done with Sats week now. So don't know why I've decided to do a readathon where you try and read as many books as you can, but the first day of Bout of Books is a bank holiday. I have no plans. It's supposed to rain. Perfect day to sit down and read this book, because I know once I pick it up, I'm not going to want to put it down. This is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This, I believe, I get so mixed up. I think this is the US cover. This is the UK cover. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these are the two different covers. I like them both. Oh, put that one away. I do like them both. I like the houses on this one. I know absolutely nothing about this one, and this is how I like to go into a Lisa Jewell novel. Even when I went back and did my kind of reading of her back catalogue that I hadn't read yet, I didn't look up what any of them were about, because I know I've always loved a Lisa Jewell novel. I've been a fan since Ralph's Party. I just got into her thrillers so much. I've met her in multiple locations, multiple continents, multiple parts of the country. Very exciting. Big events, small events. I just love a Lisa Jewell novel. So I'm planning on, as you are watching this, have already read this novel, but just so you know, extra bank holiday that we had that was supposed to be my grammar, punctuation and spelling paper day, gonna spend with Lisa Jewell instead, and I'm excited about it, and I've made my plans clear to the rest of my household. Then, very excitingly, I do have a physical copy of this book for my book versus movie book, but it is not unpacked yet. As you can see, the bookshelves are not full yet. This shelf is now fixed, so that's good. We can start putting books on this very empty shelf now. I think probably those books are just going to move down. But it's in a box still somewhere. So what I have done is downloaded the Kindle version from my library, because I'm still on hold for the audio version from my library. Apparently it's not on Audible, otherwise I would have bought it. And yet I feel sure that I first read this book via tape from my library when I was, I think it might have even been a May half term when I read this, because I remember reading it in my I must read everything Judy Blume has ever written phase, because My book versus movie book is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which as I'm filming this, I'm like, I'm going to put this up right away because I'm going to see the film on Wednesday. So, book versus movie for this one coming your way very, very soon. Make sure you have that notification switched on so that you don't miss this one, because I'm so like scared but excited, but like nervous, because the film does look really good, but this book, I reread it as an adult a couple of years ago. I'll see if I can find that video and link it up above for you, because I got a really nice copy of it. But this book was like formative years for me. It was a big deal for me, very, very big deal for me, and I'm like scared that the movie's gonna do it wrong. However, I think that the movie is going to be really good. Really mixed feelings about it, but I'm so excited that I've got this like planned halfway through Sats Week, halfway through Battle Books for me. And so reading this as part of that, I'm very, very excited. Obviously, now I don't know if you call this YA or middle grade, because when it came out, there wasn't a YA thing. It's teen. It was in the teen category. But Margaret is not a teenager. And so, yeah, let me know in comments. How do you categorise this? Is this YA? Is this middle grade? Who would you give it to? Like, who's booksellers? Who would you give it to? And then we have another book, so I can complete a series. It is here. We have Finding Perfect by Colleen Hoover. Spoiler alert, have already read this one. Because I could read it quite quickly. So I read it in 3 days. Read a couple of chapters each day, because I think there's only like 8 chapters, maybe not even. So the very end of it is like a preview for all your perfects, but there's only like 80 pages. So basically I read it across 3 days. No, it must have been across 4 days. No, 3 days, having breakfast before school. And so I have already read this one, but this one is on my May TBR so that I can finish the Hopeless series by Colleen Hoover. And is this one going to tell me what happens next to Sky and Holder? No, it is not. Is it going to tell me more about Daniel? Yes, it is. I'm not mad about that one. Did this book make me cry? Yes, it did. Please tell me in the comments what I should read next from Colleen Hoover, because I'm new to her. I had Losing Hope from NetGalley when it came out. Didn't read it because it was the second book in a series, and then went to read Hopeless, as you know, a couple of months ago. So I finally got to that, which is good. But now I'm like, I feel like I could read something maybe slightly less depressing from her, because she's such a big sensation, obviously now, thanks to TikTok. Which one should I read next? And should I get a book talk? That's a side question there. Then we have 2 books that I was in the middle of reading during my moving and painting palooza that was the month of April. And so I'm just going to finish these off, but being completely transparent about the fact that I am in the middle of them. These are not books that I'm starting in the month. I think I was literally halfway through this one at the end of April. So this is Not Without You by Harriet Evans. Now, I've read a few Harriet Evans books and they are quite intense, but this is another one of these NetGalley's specials that I've had for absolutely ages. I'm kind of just trying to drop these into my TBRs as I go along, if I can get the audiobook of them, because generally I find that kind of convincing myself to read something is like, oh, bet I've got the audiobook copy of it. So this says Times Change, True Love Doesn't, and this is set in and around Hollywood, and it's a bit of the kind of, if you enjoyed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that movie, that long movie, it's got a little bit of that about it. But I don't know. I think that you can tell that this is an earlier book from Harriet Evans, because I know I've definitely enjoyed some of her later books. But I think there are bits in this that could be better. And so it's taking me a little while to get through, because I'm not sort of super motivated to get back to it. But it was exactly halfway through that. So I thought, well, we'll put it on the May TBR and it can be a May book. And then non-fiction wise, I am in a bit of a conundrum, because this one has just returned to the library. I didn't realise it was returning quite so soon, but I'm enjoying what I've read so far. And this is Sweet Land of Liberty, A History of America in 11 pies, and the first one very aptly is apple pie, and I like that one because that one's got links with Yorkshire as well, so it's like it's American but also it's Yorkshire, a bit like how Colorado Day and Yorkshire Day are both on the 1st of August. I like that fact. So this is non-fiction, and this will be my non-fiction read for the month of May, because again, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm trying to like drop in at least one non-fiction book a month. It kind of naturally comes up that I read a non-fiction book anyway, but I find that if I'm kind of planning to read one, then that works out better for me anyway. So there's my non-fiction for May. So I hope you enjoyed the fact that I put in some books that are May releases that I've already read, as well as a couple of May releases that I've pre-ordered. We've got a June release in there, July release, book versus movie, a buddy read, or 3, and a couple of books that I hadn't finished in April that are now May TBRs. Make sure that you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so that book versus movie that I'm really worried about for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume hits your subscription feed and that you don't miss out on it. As I say, reviews of a few of those May releases that I've already read are on my blog and my Goodreads in the description box below. Let me know in comments what Colleen Hoover book should I read next, and also what are you reading in the month of May, and should I start a book talk? Stay tuned for more updates on the bookshelves. It's very exciting. More books will be unpacked at some point, but it's, you know, busy. And yes, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you with my next one. Thanks so much for watching. Woo!